Your brother, you're all mad.
Alright,
Lucky duck.
we're doing something that we haven't really done before. This was Sean's idea, if it sucks. So, oh yeah, by the way, we're both called Sean Oak, which is a bit...
Two Sean's don't make it right.
One of us are good looking though.
I really like the one that you read there about your grandfather because so your grandfather was called Sean Oak as well, I'm taking it? Yeah. Yeah, I had the exact same thing. So you're the third one as well of your group?
Oh no, my father's called Paul.
Oh right.
Yeah, it's Skip one.
Skip one.
Yeah.
Sort of like multiple sclerosis, right? Never mind. So here's the first question. The first one's really simple. Based off what we were just talking about, do you prefer when people call you Sean or Sean Oak?
Actually, my name is Seán. In Ulster anyway. Seán Oak is my name. That's why I refer to myself. But yeah, I don't. I wasn't. My birth cert says Sean Paul. I was Sinead. There's no surname there or anything. So from there, I've just been fucking freestyling it for years and switching it up. You know what I mean? But yeah, as much as Seán Oak O'Murray, don't get it twisted.
Was I pronouncing Erin go Brách wrong?
Erin go Brách. Yeah.
Brách.
Brách.
Right. So like broccoli, but
Yeah. So it's obviously it's a very famous Republican slogan, and like I read a lot of Republican literature, and like I wanted to sort of have this book. I wanted there to be a harp on it, but I signed that away in the contract, and I had no say in what it looked like. But yeah, I wanted like people to like see this thing by me that said Erin go Brách, you know, and like assume that it's like, you know, like really political and stuff, you know, but it's actually like the saddest thing you've ever read in your fucking life, you know what I mean? Like,
Thanks for telling us that.
well, no spoiler alert, you know. Well, I might have spoiled a load of it already, actually. But yeah, look, the Erin go, it's more, you see it more as like B-R-A-G-H, which is kind of like a anglicization from B-R-A-C-H, so it means forever, you know. So like there's loads of ways of saying forever in Irish, the same way there's loads of ways of saying forever in English, you know. I think the best way to think of it is like, so like go Brách with a CH means until Judgment Day, and I'm pretty sure that's the oldest sort of form of it, but Judgment Day for people back then was the end, do you know what I mean? So that is forever, do you know. And then go Brách is forever, go Joe is also forever, Agoni and whatever, do you know. But yeah, that was the oldest, and like because like there's heavy themes of romance in this book, but this book is a tragedy, you know. There's a Judgment Day to it, you know, which is why I changed from the GH to the CH.
when you say Judgment Day, do you feel like sort of as in you can? Because I've as I said, I haven't finished it yet. I'm probably about halfway through it, but it's not being honest. Pablo's finished it, so he can.
Come here, you interview me. Do you want to talk about the end of it?
Yes.
What I was going to say is, are you saying Judgment Day in the sense that you can kind of? I feel like I can kind of see where it's going.
Oh, stop. Yeah, I feel like most people say they read it and they feel it's concentrated throughout it. You know what I mean? Or like, yeah, I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything, but like, it's not like it. I wouldn't say it's hinted towards, like, you know, but there is like. But I feel like that's satisfying in the book because you're not waiting for a happy ending when you start reading this thing. Like, do you know what I mean? So you're kind of waiting for that anyway, you know. I think it might be a bit. It would have been odd if it had ended any differently. I think, you know.
There's a lot of characters in this novella. I love that word, by the way, novella. What made you say novella instead of novel?
A novel is 40,000 words.
Right.
And above. This is only 25,000 words, so you'll fly through it. Yeah, so I think it was just the amount of words that's in the fucking book. I intended to set out to write a novel, but I'm not able, to be honest with you. I don't have the focus for it.
Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, there's a lot of characters that like remind me of people I've met before in Belfast. You know, like on the glider, in the workplace, in the place you don't work. There feels like there's a constant theme of Belfast politics, Belfast culture, just Belfast itself. Why would you say your lived experience in Belfast sort of influenced how you wrote?
I mean, a lot of it is based off lived experience, like, you know. I find it very difficult to, like, I don't think I could sit down and make up Lord of the Rings, do you know what I mean? I think it's easier, I personally find it easier to see, like, metaphor and see the good literature in life as it happens, and life as it's told to me. So yeah, like, I was living in Belfast, and this is what was happening to me, you know, and that's what I wrote about, I suppose. Like, I am cautious of, like, there's, like, it's kind of cool and trendy to be from Ireland at the moment, and particularly trendy to be from West Belfast and stuff, you know. But, like, a lot of people in West Belfast, you know, they're getting it pretty tight, like, you know. And you notice, like, the people that are from West Belfast that are doing well for themselves, they're speaking out about that, you know. When you look at, like, the local power crew, and they're on stage saying, like, you know, was it like a third of fucking kids or something in West Belfast are in poverty or some shit like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, like, it's not set in West Belfast because that's, like, the place to be at the moment or whatever, you know. It's just that's the experience I had in West Belfast, and when you read it, you know, it's like, it's not like, you know, it's not a handy trip, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's obviously a lot of trials and tribulations in the book.
Yeah.
So.
When did you? Yeah. Sorry, when did you start writing the book?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, technically, I've been writing it for fucking years, like, you know. So most of this comes from 2022, 23 around then. And then I was around this time last year. I knew I was going to move to London, and I was in Cork, and I had a fucking, like, I woke up, the book split into two parts, so the first part's in Belfast and the second is in London. And I had this dream in Cork, and I woke up with the book, like, fully formed. Well, the first part of the book, like, fully formed in my head. Not fully formed, that's kind of an exaggeration, but I mean, like, I had, like, this sort of structure, you know, and I had no concept of even writing a book about it at all before then, and it was kind of lingering in my head then. And then a couple of months later, I did the Shanachie gig, and, you know, everything was just kind of working out nicely, you know, and I was like, okay, this is, you know, everything's. But when I got the contract and the deal to write the thing, that was in July last year. I finished kind of creating things for it, like writing it as new around Christmas time last year, and then I've been editing it for about 2 months after that. So I don't know, maybe like 10 months or something in total. You know. But it is a very short book. That sounds very impressive. But it is a very, very short book, so yeah, you'll fly through it. You can read it 2 or 3 times, you know, in like a week.
I promise I will.
Oh yeah, it's very long for him. He's used to poems, you know.
You can't finish it.
Oh yeah, you mentioned there that you felt like you woke up and you had, like, a lot of the book figured out. Do you subscribe to the idea that sometimes ideas that are in your subconscious can kind of come out in your dreams sort of as a better idea than maybe even if you actually sat and worked on it?
I don't know, like, dreams are kind of, I don't know, like, sometimes you have dreams and it makes you want to fucking rope it, like, straight after, like, fucking hell, you know, like, when I was a kid I used to have dreams it was Christmas, and then I'd wake up and it would be, like, October time, and I'd have to, like, go to school, you know, and I'd be like, like, what the fuck, it was Christmas 2 seconds ago, you know. So, like, yeah, I think that, like, maybe not so much in this book at all, but that, I do think about that a lot. Wait, what was the question?
Like, do you subscribe to the idea that your dreams can help you sort of influence, like, the idea being, Paul McCartney, like, famously said that he came up with Yesterday because he had a dream about it and he woke up and the song was just ready in his head.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound like that. That's not what I mean at all, like, you know. I just woke up with the inspiration to fucking write this thing, like, you know, and, like, I had this sort of basic structure or whatever. I didn't wake up with Yesterday. You know, I didn't wake up with Erin Brách. I think that's sort of bollocks, to be honest with you. Like, you know, there's no way he had a dream and the thing was fully fucking formed. And then the thing is, you can't remember your dream half an hour after it happened. Like, you know what I mean? So we went all the way to the studio and was like, yeah, it's still there. You know what I mean? There's absolutely no fucking way, like, you know. Man, those boys were on way more drugs than me, though. So, but, like, at the moment, there was a point in time I would. Oh, it's not. Believe that shit. Yeah, no, I don't subscribe to whatever that is. No.
fuck that. At what age did you start taking writing seriously, or like what year in your life did it become sort of important to you?
Well, I used to write when I was young, but yeah, I wouldn't have really taken it seriously. I mean, I would have kept it like a secret and stuff. But as you're reading the book, I was doing so I read a line in this book that sort of inspired me to cop on myself and go back and get some qualifications. And I reapplied to sit my maths and English GCSEs. Well, I did essential skills maths. But I did the GCSE English and whatever, and I hadn't written anything in a really long time, so I was like, I'll just write to, like, so I'm not going in here like, not knowing what I'm doing, like, and yeah, I just fucking blasted out a few stories and just sent them to my mates or whatever, and then I put them up on. Eventually, after a couple of months, I put them up on like some platform somewhere, and like I remember being terrified, but being like really encouraged by like I turned my phone off after I did it. I was like shit scared, and like looking back, like it's so like ridiculous, but like and like when you don't share it with people, it becomes so burdensome, I think. But I was terrified of like the people I grew up with and stuff, and like, and come here, like the people aside from my family there, the people I grew up with aren't here, which is interesting. But like I was scared of them people seeing it, and after I turned my phone back on, like the engagement was so meager on the thing, you know what I mean? I was like, no one gives a fuck about this, like no one cares. Like I'll just fucking blast this shit out, and it's grand. There was something very freeing about it. And then when I sort of like maybe like 2022 around then, I was putting these things on the internet, and I was like, right, I might make like a specific space on the internet to start putting these things up, and then I started just submitting them to places and whatever. So I suppose about 3 years ago, yeah, maybe 3.5 years ago, something like that there, I started being like, yeah, you know what, it's not so much like I didn't think I have a, sorry, I feel like I'm rambling, I feel like I've been talking for like forever. It's not so much that I thought like I had a knack for it or anything, it was like I feel like settled and at home here, and yeah, now, here we are now, like.
Yeah. Here's a quote from the book that I picked out that I liked. It's from quite early on, because I didn't get it. The big brown eyes on her, gold heavy and low in them, emerald running along the top of her irises. I really love those lines. I particularly love the juxtaposition between her eyes seemingly glowing with gold, but also having low in them. I think that's what makes your writing really special, is that in such a concise word count, you're able to just wove in all that meaning. Yeah, I think that the eyes appear a few times in this novel, I sort of noticed. It's not even just in this one part, so it's a very weird question, but what do you think about eyes?
What is it, the window to the soul or something, is it? Yeah, you might think I think about them a lot, but they are repeated in the book a fair bit. It's just the person I was writing about had nice eyes, to be honest with you.
There's other characters. There's other characters, I feel.
I mentioned their eyes?
Yeah. I can't remember. There's definitely other characters. This will be in my extended review.
Yeah, I suppose I write about the protagonist's eyes as well. Look, that's probably going to be one of those things that, like, people read about it and they're like, oh, this means this and that. No, it just doesn't, like, it's fucking throw it in there, and like, but that's the point of it, if it means that to you, then that's what that means. But yeah, I don't think much about eyes at all, unless like, occasionally you see someone you think they have lovely eyes.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
Who said that? I wasn't talking about you. Am I messing? Yeah, but no.
Yeah. We're getting on. You have another piece to read, right?
Yeah, one tiny small more bit. This is from the actual book. You're gonna sit here for it? You haven't read this bit yet, have you?
No.
Yeah, so I was gonna read one part. This part is all